911 Director Alex Case in the studio. He is preparing for a luncheon today with area businesses to talk about how they can take care, maybe give them a little heads up for severe weather for their businesses. Good morning.
Good morning, Evan. Appreciate the opportunity. Commissioner Rumley's usually here, but he's back in Atlanta today for meetings, so asked me to fill in. But yes, today is lunch and learn that the Alliance and Chamber asked me to be at, and they attended a meeting with us and 5 other counties. Last year we worked on continuity of operations during disasters, and they attended as well to see, but we're going to talk about what it does as businesses to prepare the safety of their employees, which is the most vital part of any business, is the people that's getting the things done, and what to do to prepare as a storm comes in. But if something does happen, what do you got to do to keep the continuity of your business continuing to go on? And just like county governments, we got to think about all the different strings of government through the court systems, probate, magistrate, 911, that's a very important thing. But what's your redundancies, and what can you do if you're within the next 12 hours to get back open to the public or for things like that? So we're going to take some what we worked with Dade, Walker, Catoosa, Whitfield, and Gordon hosted for almost a year and a half or 2 years on some of the upcoming plans that FEMA is pushing on each state, and GEMA, Georgia Emergency Management's pushing to the local emergency managements. And we teamed up as all 5 counties to come up with a plan, use some mitigation funds to help hire a planner, which is a retired Cherokee County EMA Director, Robbie Westbrook, and we had 4 days of inviting all the county different strings of government to come in and look at what it's got to do. You know what you got to do to keep your department going and to help logistically do that. So we would want to move this out to the businesses, and we got a lot of templates that we'll be getting a lot of websites out, and this is also off our Dade County website as well that you can get to. But a big one is GeorgiaReady.gov. There's things for individuals, businesses, all types of things, and we all got to take that responsibility upon ourselves to prepare ourselves and our families during any type of situation of storms, either natural and or man-made disasters. And we have a lot of information out there. There's tons of information out on the web, but just keeping everybody reminded what that is, and hopefully let businesses think outside their box. Every day we're there at that same grind every day, just like in here that you do every morning. But what if this wasn't here? How would you continue to distribute your radio stations? And I know you got other places around that, it's things to think about and what to do. So let's just get everybody thinking a little bit.
Well, that'll be coming up today, and the public is invited to attend. The Chamber would love to have you. I think it's $18, and that's the meal included. Yep. If you're a non-member, I think it's only $15 if you're a member. Yep. But if you're a member, I'm sure you've been alerted to the dinner's going to be coming up today. It's a lunch and learn, they call it. It'll be at the Dade County
Trenton Civic Center.
Yep. Where they hold it several times a year. And is it 11:30 or 12?
11:30. There'll be some announcements and things, and I think we'll probably start eating lunch and get started. But it's just something to think about. It's what we do to plan for what's coming in the future, and Mother Nature plays its course, and it's never the same each time it comes. And
we've got some weather that's going to be coming up tomorrow night. I know that Patrick, in just a few minutes, is going to kind of lay out what he thinks it's going to happen Friday night into Saturday morning.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be hitting northwest Alabama from what Huntsville is showing between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., which will be, our 6 to 8. And so they had a weather conference yesterday. They're doing another one today at 2:30 our time, and they've allowed us to be involved with their emergency management group, thank goodness, because they're on the border to us. And last week we experienced this. We took quite a bit of damage, mostly a lot of power outages. We did have some county equipment, or a county communications tower take some damage. It ripped the power mast off the roof, and our batteries and our generator done what it was supposed to do, but that was nearly 14 and a half hours to get that back stable. And we still have structural damage to get repaired, roof things so it don't leak. We've got temporary measures in, but that's the things we got to think about and that we prepare for. But we can't prepare for everything because we don't know what it was. But that storm was so quick. The Weather Service from Peachtree, personally, I feel they delivered their warnings way too late. We're in tremendous communications with them right now, and this is not the first time because we're at their very end border of Dade, Walker, and Catoosa. Huntsville is to our west at Jackson and DeKalb County and one Tennessee County. Then Morristown is Marion, Hamilton, and all that. So we're in a trifecta of 3 weather services.
Right on each one of them border.
And so luckily Huntsville, with DeKalb and Jackson Emergency Management, I have a very good working relationship with them. We call each other. If they start receiving a lot of damage, a lot of times they'll text me or call me direct and saying what they have. But we're also watching a system that we're all in through the National Weather Service called Weather Chat. And I'm watching Huntsville and Birmingham so much that we have them on different screens and reading what local emergency management's reporting. And that's how the Weather Service can determine what to start moving ahead. But I think there was an issue. There's also an issue with National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, that leads some of these things to be issued out. You've heard us talk about hyperreach and things like that, and our outdoor warning sirens for outdoor warning activities. Those sirens are not designed to wake you up in the middle of the night like if you live close to them. They're designed to alert you outside areas that has big outside gatherings, sports complex, downtown Trenton with city parks and outside area that we have here. Our third one is at the Davis School Road, where the outdoor activities of the walking track downstairs are in the bowl, what they call, and the Trailblazers, where they do a lot of outdoor activities. The hyperreach system and the tornado warning system, once the National Weather Service cues I'm going to talk hyperreach first. If they cue a thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, or if you live along our Lookout Creek and prone to flood, a flood warning, you can choose which one of those 3 you would want. Mostly everybody picks thunderstorm and tornado. When the Weather Service hits those warnings out, every 2 minutes, these systems are constantly looking at the weather services, which ours is Peachtree. So every 2 minutes, the server of hyperreach at several locations is looking. When they stamp that warning out, they're building this warning template that we all see in text. And when it leaves, it left last Saturday morning at 2:33. The issue was from the Weather Service was issued at 2:30. It took 3 minutes for that server to grab that data, take all that text and convert it to voice, grab all the phone numbers that was in the polygon shape of where the warning was. If they ain't done our entire county, it has to grab all those phone numbers, text, and email, create that short blurb, and start calling. And that's automatic. So what we're trying to remind the Weather Service is that you've got to get way ahead of a warning. So at 2:33, the campaign started for the thunderstorm warning. At 2:35, they issued the tornado warning. At 2:38, the siren went off. That's how long it also took for the weather warn system that's also constantly looking at National Weather Service Peachtree. It grabs it. Weather warn servers are out about everywhere in the southeast. They talk back to our server here at 911, and we have an alternate location. In case 911's blown away, we have an alternate server to set that siren off. So they've got to get way ahead. They cannot campaign us 2 major warnings within 5 minutes. And this is about the 3rd or 4th time this has happened. I have asked for the Weather Service head meteorologist for a major meeting. He's out doing storm damage reports from everything that happened further south of us. And I've asked to go further up because this has happened too many times in my history here. Met with Commissioner Rumley, and I've talked to a few of the commissioners because we got asked about this, and we have taken some other procedures deeper into Alabama that we're going to be alerted on. We're going to be looking at alerts of watches and warnings 4 counties deep all the way around Dade County. From 4 weather services, we have to include Birmingham because the 3rd and 4th counties direct south of us is fed out of Birmingham's weather service. But we're going to have procedures. We're meeting today because there's another 2:30 weather briefing from Huntsville. We're going to see what they say. Then you're going to start seeing some stuff out of information from the county from Miss Carrie Anderson's, our PIO. She's helps us tremendously. It allows us to concentrate on that. And when we're sitting in the room, she sees the same alerts. We make the decision to give it out, and we play it down. But we're going to be looking at timing and trying to get things more alerted to our counties and our first responders.
It's, I guess, it's always better to, and you would know this, I go back to the emergency services, err on the side of giving care instead of wording and getting that information out as quickly
as possible. And we've, in the middle of the night, the only thing we received, and the shelters have come up a lot, the shelters not being open, and our shelter trigger is tornado watches, which is hours before the event. The tornado watch was never issued for Dade County at all. It was issued for Jackson and DeKalb County at 10:47 p.m. for Jackson and DeKalb, which was 9:47 their time. And so that trigger, we're going to be working off some triggers like that. If we see a watch 2 counties deep coming, we figuring it's fixing to move to us, we will start making preparations. Now, we have people in South Dade as shelter managers and helpers or volunteers. I've got one that has asked to help with sports complex, but we need some help within the Davis community and more here close to the sports complex because, as you know, we don't have a huge staff to go do this stuff with. We're making preparations for communications, video cameras to be able to have one-to-one talk with people. We have lock boxes on the outside that we can give the code out over the air and they can unlock, and we'll change the next time. But we had some issues last week. We've corrected those. We had some triggers that didn't get fixed from some young dispatchers that we corrected. We're lucky nobody was hurt, but also remembering you've got to take time with all the time that we have with cell phones in our hands, with the weather apps and things. Just take a few minutes and look at that weather every day. Look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. That's the first thing I do when I roll up out of bed is usually look at the weather or read my verse for the day from my Bible app. It's just something that we have to take that initiative ourselves. As we're seeing more and more and more of this, and this is our high storm time coming right now in the spring. It's our worst.
I wish that you just said that, but it seems like the storm's coming all seasons.
It is. And, we're very blessed, and you mentioned him a minute ago, but our chief meteorologist, Patrick Core, I'm going to call him of the Dade County.
Yes,
Chief of Dade County Weather because of his Tri-State Weather Network, and I watch him every day. I'm blessed to go to church with him, have for over 20 years, and we spend time outside of there to talk about this, and I talked to him about this situation. He was very not pleased, and we're hoping to have a good conversation with the Weather Service, and I've asked him to be a part of that, and he has an open seat in our EOC to come, and he calls constantly to check on us and give us updates. As he usually is finishing his, he'll call and talk to me, and he's also been a big advocate for the Weather Service ever since he's been here to all the schools, but he's also real good with the school system when we talk about inclement weather for our buses and our kids and things. So,
well, that if you want to hear more today, 12 or 11:30 rather at the Trenton Civic Center, EMA Director Alex Case is going to be talking to the area businesses, and you're invited. Once again, $18, and that includes lunch. Coming up today, it's a lunch and learn with the Alliance for Dade, the Dade County Chamber of Commerce. Alex, thank you very much. Very informative.
Yep, and we appreciate anything that the media, because I know y'all monitor us and help forward this out, and making sure that the weather is out there. And I'm glad Patrick is still continuing his Tri-State Weather Network. And
absolutely,
it's a very
that's a great segue because that's where we're headed.
Yeah, let the network talk.
That's right. Here is the weather.